ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come here today. I'm Tong Ji-soo, a volunteer here at the GIC. Before the talk begins, please make sure cell phones have turned off or switch it to silent mode. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever heard about Indonesia on the news? Or have you ever been there? If so, what's your impression of Indonesia? In today's lecture, you will have an opportunity to hear from a native Indonesian who will provide us with good news from Indonesia. You may realize Indonesia isn't as bad as mass media portrays, and it has many beautiful things to enjoy. We can learn the truth about the archipelago of Indonesia from today's talk. Today's speaker is Fahmiranti Wida Zulfia. She's an exchange student from Indonesia studying at Chonnam National University. She's going to give us a lecture on good news from Indonesia. Let's welcome our speaker with a big round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Ranti. I'm from Indonesia. First, before I start my presentation, I want to say that I feel so honored to be here to see you all, and I want to share something that hopefully it's gonna be useful for you. So, have you heard about Indonesia?
Yes.
So, what comes to your mind first when you heard about Indonesia? Can you help me to answer?
Politics.
Sorry?
Politics.
Politics?
Thailand.
And then?
Many islands.
Many islands? And what else?
Choice.
Luwak.
Oh, what? You know it? Luwak. Okay. Okay.
And then Islam.
Yes, that's true. I'm so happy to hear all the good things, but actually for Indonesia itself, once we heard about Indonesia, all we can think is about corruption and terrorism and maybe low economic growth or any other bad things. And maybe that's because something that I want to explain to you later. But do you know about this? I want to tell you about another thing that based on McKinsey Global Institute, they did a research in 2012, and Indonesia today is the 16th largest economy in the world, and they predict that in 2030, Indonesia will be the 7th largest economy in the world. And these are the other information about their research. And still from the same source, in 2030 or by 2030, the population of young generation in Indonesia will reach about 280 million. That is the growing working age population. I think this is a good news from Indonesia, but most of Indonesians, they do not know about this kind of thing. And still from McKinsey research, they also predict that Indonesia will become a mobile and digital nation. And have you heard about Raja Ampat? No, maybe everyone knows Bali, but Indonesia is not just Bali. Indonesia is not only Bali, but we also have Raja Ampat, and I will bring you there at the end of this presentation. And what can you find at Raja Ampat is the richest coral reef on earth, and it's like the paradise of the divers. And this one, Indonesia also has Pink Beach when you are going to Komodo Island, and also maybe you know the movie Eat, Pray, Love. It's from a novel, and it's also took place in Bali. But the question is, where can we find this kind of information, the good information from Indonesia? Because can we find them on newspaper or television? But I don't think so, because Indonesian newspaper or television, they tend to cover like the bad things of Indonesia, and I think we cannot blame it to them because, they have their own point why they should cover the bad things or the conflicts or something. So that is why I'm here to bring good news from Indonesia to you. First, before I explain more about good news from Indonesia in detail, I want to tell you more about Indonesia, to get to know more about Indonesia. So this is our flag, the red and white. This is our national emblem. We call it Garuda. And our Independence Day is on August 17, and Korea is August 15, right?
Right.
And these are all other information, and as Dr. Shin said before, Indonesia also identified as the biggest Muslim population in the world, and so on. So today I want to tell you about good news from Indonesia. Indonesian people, they usually call it as GNFI, that stands for Good News from Indonesia. And it's actually a website, and it can be your independent and trusted premier source of all kinds of good news from Indonesia. And its vision is clearly defined, bringing good news with no intervention from political, religious, or any private interest. So once you read the news or information about this website, I'm sure that it's, there is no intervention from these kinds of things. And it also wants to show the world about the brighter side of Indonesia, that most of the people, they do not know about Indonesia. So what triggered this website, this Good News from Indonesia? Actually, in Indonesia, after the fall of New Order regime in 1998, the freedom of the press was just begun, and mass media tend to see failures, conflicts, and we can criticize all the government and anything, and sometimes we can clearly see how the government corrupt in our country. But when we are consuming those bad news every time or every day, I think it's not a good thing to us, as we can only see our country just from the bad sides, and I think it's also bad for our younger generation. And so I also want to tell you about the one who made this website. This is Indonesian man. His name is Akhari Hananto. He is 36 years old. And he has a vision to restore optimism and rebuild confidence. Here I want to share my own experience, my own story, that when I was in the high school, I was really, pessimistic to my own country. I used to hate my country so much because all I could read from the newspaper, from TV, is just the bad things, and at that time I thought that Indonesia will have no future. And I just want to leave to another country. I just want to leave Indonesia and move to another country. But today, I'm here to bring good news from Indonesia, and that means that I had changed because I read some books and also found this website. And to me, this website really means a lot to me because it changed my thoughts and my view about Indonesia. And what can you get from Good News from Indonesia, from the website? Actually, this website features several topics like economy and business, international, travel and tourism, art and culture, science and technology, transportation, and many more. And another good news is they are provided in English and Indonesian. These are where you can access Good News from Indonesia. First, you can find them on the website www.goodnewsfromindonesia.org, or you can also read from the Twitter, from the timeline at GNFI, and it has also the Facebook account. And for the Android users, you can also find it in the Play Store. Yes, Play Store. And last year, this website articles was just compiled into a book, and the title is Good News from Indonesia, and I brought the book from Indonesia, but unfortunately it's still in Indonesian version. But hopefully later they can make the English version so everyone can read more the good news from Indonesia. So those are about good news from Indonesia, and I want to show you like the real things about Indonesia. It's more like a tourism thing. As I told before at the beginning of the presentation, I will bring you to Raja Ampat. It's located in West Papua, and please enjoy this video.
Pristine land in the western Pacific Ocean.
We start the video. Yes.
West Papua. Pristine land in the western Pacific Ocean. Ancient culture. A world of wonders. Mysterious and magical. The life of a tribe in sync with nature. West Papua's archipelago. Extremely rich sea life. Adorned with emeralds of islands. Sprawling, protected in front of the coast. A heaven for divers. The richest marine biodiversity in the world. Home to majestic phantoms of the ocean. Meet the friendliest of people. In life at its best. This is life in an amazing setting. Where Macarena greets guests. An amazing sea adventure. The best of fish. And travel in style and comfort. Here, the ancient is always only a short trip away, always reminding us. Life is beautiful. Amazing cultures and lovely sea. West Papua. Wonderful.
That was one of the beautiful places in Indonesia, and today the divers, they really like to go there. And something that I want to say here is actually Indonesia has many things to share to the world, or even to Indonesian itself, but the newspaper or the mass media today, they do not cover these kind of things that much. And if I ask you, do you know Bali?
Yes.
Yeah. After I bring it to Raja Ampat, do you want to say about Bali? Okay. Very good.
A mesmerizing gift. A mesmerizing getaway. A holy sanctuary. A captivating culture. Sublimely sacred. Yet also excitingly profane. The ultimate paradise. A luxurious escapade. Here you have some of the hippest spots on the planet. Release your inhibitions for an adventure of a lifetime. Whether you fancy the beach or golf. Just love food served exotically. Or adrenaline rushes. Enjoy oases of tranquility. Where pampering is art perfected. Mysteriously festive. Tourism with its own history. Branded hospitality. The ultimate travel destination and more. Bali. Wonderful.
That was Bali. So here I want to say to you all that my country is a very big country, and if you want to go there, and then you need to, how to say, to know exactly where you want to go, because if someone asks me which part of Indonesia is beautiful, I can say a lot, because these are from two different islands and they are very far between one island with the other one, but those are that you can find from Indonesia. So if you cannot find the good news before from the newspaper or the mainstream media, but now you have a choice to visit the www.goodnewsfromindonesia.org from your PC or from your phone. And lastly, I just want to say that Indonesia is not perfect, but it's awesome. Thank you.